It feels like everywhere you look online these days, it's just so much noise,
Yeah.
right? Like you scroll and it's just stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And that actually ties in really well with what we're diving into today because, well, the copy posse. They were talking about how with AI and all that, we're about to get hit with this wave of like artificial, superficial content. They even called it emotionally dead and utterly useless, which is a little harsh, but I get their point.
It's intense and, yeah, a little bleak. Makes you wonder, like, how are we even going to connect with each other authentically when it's all just this manufactured stuff, you know?
Exactly. And I think that's where understanding personal branding gets super important, not just like as a buzzword, but as a real skill you need.
Right. And that's why we're doing this whole deep dive on it, right? For you listening,
Yeah.
we wanted to break it down, all the different perspectives so you can really get it.
Yeah, like a masterclass in personal branding for the digital age.
So to start, what even is personal branding? I mean, everyone throws the term around, but where do we even begin to define it?
It's kind of tricky because it's both internal and external, right?
True. Like Northeastern University says it's about who you are, what you stand for, the values you embrace, and how you express those values.
Yeah, it's like your personal essence, almost. They even called it one story, which I think is a nice way to put it.
Makes sense.
Ha.
But then you got Harvard Business School online, and they're looking at it more strategically, right?
Yeah, they say it's the intentional, strategic practice of defining and expressing your value. So it's about being deliberate, not just letting things happen randomly.
And then there's this interesting layer where it's also about how other people see you.
Oh, definitely. Like
Yeah.
the perceptions others have of you, it's all part of that brand picture.
Okay, so it's how you see yourself, how you want to be seen, and how you're actually perceived, all wrapped up together.
Exactly. Multifaceted for sure.
And Mae Bush, she adds in this element of accuracy. Like it's about projecting the most authentic version of yourself and your value.
Right. It's not about faking it or being someone you're not. It's about clarity, knowing what you're about and communicating it well.
So why does this matter so much? Especially now in like 2025 with all this AI stuff on the horizon.
Okay, well, think about it like this. Northeastern, they give a bunch of reasons why personal branding is so crucial for your career, right?
Right. They say it can make you stand out to recruiters, help you get hired, and even make more money. It can also highlight your strengths so you can focus on what you're good at. And building trust is a big one.
Exactly. When people trust you, they're more likely to work with you, support you, recommend you, all that.
Okay, so for anyone listening who's thinking about their next career move, or even just wants to level up in their current role, strong personal branding is key.
For sure. And Harvard Business School Online, they point out that it also has internal benefits like boosting your confidence and making you feel more sure of yourself.
I like that because a lot of times it's our own self-doubt that holds us back.
Right. Absolutely. They also say it helps you clarify your goals and even fight imposter syndrome.
Which, let's be real, a lot of us struggle with, especially in creative fields.
Oh, big time. And then you've got youpreneur.com, and they really get into the deeper why, especially if you're entrepreneurial.
Right, like the whole find your purpose thing. They talk about how personal branding helps you figure out your why, what gets you out of bed in the morning.
Yeah, and once you know your why, it makes connecting with your audience way easier because you're speaking from a place of authenticity.
Makes sense. And they also say it helps you understand your audience better so you can tailor your message and create content they actually care about.
Which is huge, right? Because no one wants to feel like they're just being talked at. It's about building real relationships.
Exactly. And then Forbes adds this layer of competitive advantage. Like they say a strong personal brand helps you attract top talent if you're building a team.
Yeah, makes sense. People want to work with and for people they admire and respect.
For sure. And in this world where remote work and online presence are becoming the norm, Forbes also says personal branding is how you maximize that visibility and make sure you're seen.
Right, you've got to stand out in the digital crowd.
Especially with all this AI-generated content flooding the internet.
Oh, yeah, going back to that, the copy posse, they're basically saying personal branding is going to be essential in 2025 because it's how you cut through all that noise and connect with real people.
It's like the antidote to the connection crisis they talk about. Like in a world where everything feels fake, people crave authenticity.
Totally. And they also say your personal brand defines how people see you, reflects your values, and shows who you truly are.
So it's not just about getting ahead, it's about being seen and understood for who you really are.
Exactly. And Mae Bush, she brings it all together with this idea that whether you're consciously working on your brand or not, people are already forming opinions about you.
Right, that's your reputation, and it's constantly being shaped by your actions and interactions.
Yeah, and if there's a disconnect between how you want to be seen and how you're actually perceived, that can lead to missed opportunities.
So it's in your best interest to be proactive about it, even if it feels a little uncomfortable at first.
Definitely. And she also makes this point that for entrepreneurs, it's even more crucial because, as she puts it, you are the brand. Your business is an extension of you.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the why of personal branding. Now, how do we actually do it? Where do we even start?
Well, almost all the sources we looked at agree that the first step is self-reflection, like really getting to know yourself.
Northeastern University says it pretty bluntly. Figure out who you are.
Yeah, no sugarcoating there. And that means honestly assessing your strengths and weaknesses.
Right, and figuring out what you're truly passionate about, what gets you excited.
They also recommend choosing a focus area, something you want to be known for, and they say it's okay for that to evolve over time.
Which makes sense because as you grow and learn, your interests and expertise will naturally change.
Exactly. So it's not about boxing yourself in, it's about having a direction, a starting point.
Okay, so step one is getting clear on who you are and what you want to be known for. What's next?
Well, Harvard Business School Online calls it define your purpose, which I like. They suggest thinking about your values, your goals, both professional and personal.
Okay, so kind of like a big picture vision of where you want to go in life.
Yeah, exactly. And they also say to consider what makes you special, like what unique value you bring to the table, and how you actually deliver that value to others.
So not just what you're good at, but how you use those skills to make a difference.
Right. And then from all that, they say you can create a value proposition statement. It's like your personal brand elevator pitch, but even more foundational.
Makes sense. So you're defining your purpose, your value, your unique contribution.
Exactly. And youpreneur.com, they double down on this whole know your why thing. They say it's about understanding your core motivations, what really drives you.
Okay, so we're getting deep here. Really understanding the heart of who we are and why we do what we do.
Right. And Mae Bush, she has this interesting take on self-definition. She talks about stereotypes and how people might perceive you based on those.
Oh yeah, that's so true. Like we all have these preconceived notions about people based on their job title, their background, whatever.
Yeah. And she
Yeah.
says to be aware of those stereotypes, especially the positive ones, and use them to your advantage.
Interesting. So it's not about denying those perceptions, but about leveraging them strategically.
Exactly. And at the same time, she says to actively counteract any negative stereotypes that might be holding you back.
So it's about shaping the narrative and making sure people see you as an individual, not just a label.
Right. And she has this great tip. Figure out 3 words that describe your ideal brand and use them intentionally.
Ooh, that's good. Like if someone were to describe you in 3 words, what would you want them to say?
Right. It really forces you to distill your essence. It's a powerful exercise.
Okay, so we've done a ton of introspection. We know ourselves inside and out. Now what?
Now we've got to figure out who we're talking to, like who's our audience.
Right, because personal branding isn't just about you, it's about how you connect with other people.
Exactly. Northeastern University makes this point that you have to define your audience, like who are you trying to reach with your message?
Right, and they say it depends on your goals. Like, if you're looking for a new job, your audience is probably recruiters and hiring managers.
Yeah, if you're a freelancer, your audience is potential clients. If you're building a thought leadership platform, your audience is other experts and influencers in your field.
Makes sense. And they say knowing your audience dictates how you tell your story and where you tell it.
For sure. Like, LinkedIn is probably not the best place to showcase your photography portfolio, you know?
Right, you've got to choose the right platforms and tailor your message accordingly.
Totally. And youpreneur.com takes this even further. They say you have to understand your audience on a deeper level, like what are their hopes and dreams?
Oh, wow, yeah. What keeps them up at night? What are they struggling with?
Right. And then you can position yourself as the solution to their problems or the guide that helps them achieve their goals.
Okay, so understanding your audience is about empathy. It's about seeing the world through their eyes and figuring out how you can provide value.
Exactly. It's not about pushing your agenda. It's about meeting their needs.
Okay, I'm getting this. So we know ourselves, we know our audience. What's the next piece of the puzzle?
Well, now we have to do our homework, like research and learning.
Right, because we can't just exist in a vacuum. We need to understand the landscape we're operating in.
Absolutely. Northeastern, they say, to research your industry and follow the experts, figure out who's already doing what you want to do and learn from them.
So it's about finding role models, mentors, people who inspire you.
Yeah. And then they give this advice, and I love this. They say, imitate them and then do one better.
Oh, I like that. So it's not about copying, it's about learning from the best and then finding your own unique twist.
Exactly. It's about taking inspiration and then innovating.
And Northeastern also recommends informational interviews,
Hmm?
like reaching out to people in your field and picking their brains.
Right. It's such a valuable way to get firsthand insights into different career paths, industry trends, all that stuff.
And it's also a way to start building your network, right?
Oh, definitely. Every conversation is an opportunity to connect and learn.
Okay, so now we've got this solid foundation. We know ourselves, our audience, our industry. We're ready to start communicating our brand, right?
Exactly. And Northeastern starts with the classic, the elevator pitch. Like, can you sum up who you are and what you do in 30 to 60 seconds?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. It forces you to be concise and compelling.
Right. No rambling allowed. It's about making a strong first impression and leaving people wanting more.
Okay, so we've got our elevator pitch down. Now, how do we take it online?
Well, Northeastern says it pretty straight up. Grow your online presence. But they emphasize that it has to be engaging, not just like posting random stuff.
Yeah, it has to be strategic and intentional.
Yeah. And they say you've got to tailor your message to different platforms. Like LinkedIn is more professional, Twitter is more conversational, Instagram is more visual.
Makes sense. You're not going to post the same thing on LinkedIn that you would on TikTok.
Exactly. And then they break it down even further. Like they say, use LinkedIn to showcase your skills and accomplishments, Twitter to share your expertise and connect with thought leaders, Instagram for visual storytelling.
Oh, and they mentioned TikTok and Snapchat for personality-driven content, especially if you're targeting a younger audience.
Right. And Reddit for niche communities. And of course, a personal website or portfolio is essential for many creatives and professionals.
Okay, so it's about choosing the right platforms for your goals and audience, and then creating content that's tailored to each one.
For sure. And youpreneur.com, they add that it's also about developing your unique voice and style. Like, how do you communicate in a way that's both authentic and engaging?
Right. They say let your personality shine through in your writing and your videos. Don't be afraid to be a little quirky or vulnerable.
Exactly. And they also emphasize sharing your story. Like, what's your journey? What have you learned? What makes you you?
Okay, so it's about being real, relatable, and letting people see the human behind the brand.
Absolutely. And then the copy posse comes in with this whole just start mentality. Like, stop overthinking it, stop trying to be perfect, just show up as yourself.
I love that. Because sometimes we get so caught up in trying to create this polished persona that we lose sight of who we really are.
Totally. And they say to share your everyday life, your hobbies, your thoughts, your wins, even your failures.
Because that's what makes you human and relatable, right?
Right.
People connect with realness.
Exactly. And their advice is to aim to make people laugh, cry, or learn something from your content.
That's a good benchmark. And they also say to ditch the automation and focus on building real relationships.
Yeah, like respond to DMs, start conversations, show people that you're actually there and you care.
Okay, so it's about being present, engaged, and genuinely connecting with your audience.
Exactly. And then Maybush, she brings it back to the real world. She says to invite others to see you in action.
Oh, interesting. So it's not just about what you say online, it's about how you show up in real life.
Right. She says to look for opportunities to demonstrate your skills and your personality, whether it's volunteering for a project or speaking at an event.
Okay, so it's about walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly. And she also says to use language that aligns with your brand. Like, if you want to be seen as a leader, use words that convey leadership.
Makes sense. The way you speak and the words you choose shape how people perceive you.
For sure. Okay, so we've talked about communicating your brand both online and offline. What's the next step?
Well, I think it's about building your network and credibility.
Right, because your brand isn't just a solo project. It's about how you connect with other people in your field.
Exactly. And Northeastern, they say to embrace networking, like go to events, meet people, make connections.
Yeah, and they say to be proactive about it. Don't just wait for people to come to you.
Right? Put yourself out there. Introduce yourself. Start conversations.
And they also emphasize the importance of following up, like send an email, connect on LinkedIn, keep the conversation going.
Makes sense. It's about building relationships, not just collecting business cards.
Exactly. And then to boost your credibility, Northeastern also says to ask for recommendations, like get endorsements on LinkedIn, ask people to be references.
Oh, that's smart. Because social proof is huge, right?
Huge. It's like having other people vouch for you adds a lot of weight to your brand.
Totally. And Harvard Business School online, they call this socialize your brand. They say to identify the key people in your field, the influencers, the gatekeepers, the connector.
Right, the people who can help amplify your message and connect you with the right people.
Exactly. And they also recommend getting feedback on your brand from trusted colleagues and mentors.
Yeah, like get an outside perspective on how you're being perceived and make sure it aligns with your goals.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Online presence, offline presence, networking, credibility. What's the final piece of advice?
I think it's this. Personal branding is not a one-time thing, it's an ongoing process.
Right, it's not like you set it and forget it. It's constantly evolving.
Northeastern says to reinvent your brand as you grow. As you learn new skills, gain new experiences, your brand should reflect that growth.
So it's about staying relevant, staying current, and always looking for ways to improve.
Youpreneur.com emphasizes consistency, like making sure your message, your visuals, your tone of voice are all consistent across all your platforms.
Right, because that builds trust and recognition.
Exactly. And Mae Bush, she reminds us that your brand is never finished. It's a continuous upward spiral.
Ooh, I like that visual. So it's not just about getting to a certain point and then stopping. It's about constantly pushing yourself to be better, to refine your brand, to grow.
That's the beauty of it. It's a lifelong journey of self-discovery and expression.
Okay, so for everyone listening, let's recap what we've learned in this deep dive. Personal branding is essential in today's digital world. It's how you cut through the noise, connect with your audience, and stand out authentically. And it starts with you.
You got it. Know yourself, your values, your purpose, your strengths, your story.
Understand your audience. What are their needs? How can you provide value?
Be consistent in your message, your visuals, your actions.
Build relationships. Connect with people online and offline.
And remember, it's an ongoing process. Be patient with yourself and enjoy the journey.
And as we wrap up, let's go back to what the Copy Posse said about that influx of AI content.
Oh yeah, think about this. In a world where everything's becoming automated and artificial, your humanness, your authenticity, that becomes your biggest asset.
So your personal brand, your unique story, that's what's going to set you apart in 2025 and beyond.
So the question is, what step will you take today to start shaping that story and sharing it with the world?